So, Scotty, James Harden is on a tear. He's on a scoring surge that we haven't seen before. How would you defend this man?
Well, first of all, you have to start guarding James Harden when he get out of his car going into the arena. Try to limit his touches with the basketball.
So what you're saying is when your team scores the basket, you're finding James Harden. You're picking up 94 feet.
Yes, even if he's in the parking lot, I'm coming to find him. I think you have to make James Harden work, and that takes time off the clock. I think he's very comfortable walking into his comfort zone and picking apart the defense.
Are you going to allow him to get his rhythm by dribbling the ball 20 times? Are you going to come up?
His left hand and force him to beat me right. And I will give him not completely direct line to the basket, but almost inviting him to go take a layup.
Now, I'm James Harden, right?
Yes.
You're going to play on my left hand.
Yes.
For me to take a double step back,
yes,
I'm going to create so much space, you're not going to be able to bother my shot.
I will play James Harden from behind. I will be able to bother his shot because I will play him to force him into driving, and I'll just sit on his right shoulder all night. I don't care if he beat me going to the basket. I don't care if he throws lob passes. He's not going to do it with his left hand.
So as I'm driving the ball and you're on my hip,
I'm chasing. I'm not on your hip. I'm chasing.
You're chasing me from behind until your center.
Yes.
So now you're going to put your center in jeopardy of getting in foul trouble.
Somebody going to be in foul trouble. I think forcing him to take 30 layups is better than allowing him to take 13 threes as he's shooting. The way that you stop a guy like this is with a team.
Yes.
You don't stop a great scorer, maybe I should say that, but what you want to do is make every shot very difficult and contain him. And that's what I don't think teams are doing to James Harden because they're not trying to get the ball out of his hands. And to stop a score takes a lot more energy than it does to stop a team because you got to fight to get the ball out of James Harden's hand or he's going to do damage to you in the half-court game.
Well, appreciate it, Scotty. We'll see if any of these teams around the NBA will listen to this man right here. He knows what he's talking about.
Scottie Pippen was the best defender of his era, and perhaps any era for that matter, so he knows of what he speaks. And it's been fascinating to see teams incorporate a number of unique techniques to handle Harden as he plays alongside a shorthanded team without Chris Paul and now Clint Capella. There really is no stopping Harden. This 19-game run he's on is just about unprecedented, but there have been a few teams willing to try and stop him. The Bucks opted for extreme positioning, playing almost behind him in order to force him to his right and into the big man. This seemed to disrupt his rhythm a bit, as well as his teammates, as easy passes for layups did not go in the basket, and leaning so hard on his left shoulder allowed Bledsoe to be right at the release in order to contest in the air and force the miss. The Rockets adjusted by running a handoff for him to get some separation, and the downhill drive got him a floater over the big man. In an effort to deny him the ball back, they had Bledsoe get on the high side and invite the backdoor cut. You can see Lopez ready to dive back and cover the hoop, and it all serves to keep the ball out of Harden's hands and into a turnover. This time, they get the backdoor cut, but Lopez is there to block the shot as planned. However, rotating this much does tend to yield offensive rebounds. Again, look how Bledsoe sits on his left shoulder inviting a straight line drive, but this also allows the weak side to crash down, and Giannis is long enough to deflect the pass and turn this into another turnover. Pressuring deep in the backcourt, like Scotty said, made Harden impatient, throwing this 47-foot pass away. But the next time down, Harden is able to connect on the pass when he gets by Bledsoe easily, and they're forced to foul the layup shooter. When the Rockets broke the record for three-pointers in a game at 70, there was a decent explanation beyond Houston just jacking them up. The game went to overtime, and the Brooklyn Nets decided to play a ton of zone. With two guards and their center coming out beyond the free throw line, it's too much even for Harden to attack, and it got it out of his hands and someone else shooting. A win for the defense. There's just no room to attack out top against their 2-3 as he gets swarmed and pushed back to the perimeter and then stripped of the ball. Lining up in a 1-2-2 on this possession allows pressure on the ball, but the top guy knows he's got plenty of backup. Without any movement on offense, it only leaves Harden to burp up a bad shot from way downtown. You can see how the zone allows so much help there really aren't any openings to find a shot. And if they can stick to this left side and contest in the air on step backs like this, the defense should be in pretty good shape. D'Antoni makes an adjustment here, an inside ball screen on the guard. It gets Harden going downhill in the center, but at that speed and a center with good length, these shots are the ones Scotty wants him taking a lot of. Funneling back to his right is clearly the game plan, right into the center. The one issue with the zone is that it gives up a lot of offensive rebounds, as Nene cleans up on Harden's Kobe assist. There seems to be a tiny bit of evidence that making Harden throw passes with his right hand leads to some that are inaccurate, blowing a chance at a layup here, and the Nets get the turnover anyway. They also extended the zone in order to deny Harden at half court, hoping anybody else on the roster takes the shot. At the end of the game, the Nets went even more extreme, sending a second defender to double and get it out of his hands, again to dare anyone else to make a play. There were mixed results to this method, but when they absolutely needed to stop, they got it when Austin Rivers couldn't get this jumper to fall. Luke Walton and the Lakers got into the act with more of the extreme positioning to force him right, and then go straight denial defense so he can't get the ball back and some other Rocket would have to shoot the ball. If they were lucky enough that Harden gave the ball up early, KCP would deny the ball back, and though it becomes a wide open shot in the corner, I suspect the Lakers were still saying, at least it wasn't Harden. They extended the denial defense into the backcourt to really make Harden work, and it simply invited players like Austin Rivers to isolate and make incredibly difficult shots. The Rockets use a ball screen to get the backcourt pressure off of Harden, but even this almost leads to a turnover on a bad pass. With the long arms of Ingram walling off the middle, check Lonzo's positioning. Way off his man one pass away, Harden sucks him in, kicks to the corner, and even though he makes it, it's a great contest by Ball and a shot the Lakers can live with. The Lakers got creative by zoning up Ingram at the free throw line to shadow Harden's every move. They funnel him right and into the help down low and display expert rotations to cover the kickout and swing. They forgot about Harden, but got lucky when Green doesn't throw it to him and opts for a tough pull-up long two instead. We even saw a box and one on him, as KCP guards Harden man-to-man while the other four players form a box around the lane. This seemed to confuse the offense for precious seconds, and although Harden finally gets to his left and into the lane, there's plenty of help, and the defense gets just enough rotational pressure on the shooter. The shot doesn't fall, and it's another stop. It wasn't like this defense was successful, as Harden lit the Lakers up for 48 points and 6 assists in a 4-point win. Brooklyn got the improbable win in overtime, but Harden had 58 points and 6 more dimes. Milwaukee had the most success, quote-unquote, holding him to 42 points in a 7-point win that turned mostly on the part of the game Harden was resting on the bench. So there you have it, sports fans. We've never seen anything like what Harden is doing on offense, and it's leading teams to get very creative with ways to make it harder for him and his teammates to score the basketball. While the regular season is just a lab for experimentation right now, you can bet there are a lot of Western Conference teams like the Warriors keeping their eye out for a good blueprint to stopping James Harden. And maybe, just maybe, someone will discover the key to not only limiting the Beard's points, but to also defeating the Rockets at the same time.